Hello, channel. Welcome back to Miss Master Self 101. Y'all know I got to get them thumbnail photos in the beginning. I was real. Did I move? I was real still, y'all. Ladies, let me tell y'all how I am so in love with these lips I have on today, y'all. And you would not believe where I got it from. This little thing right here. I don't know if the camera will focus to show y'all. I want to say it's pronounced Le Mercier. Lemercerie. Le Mercier. Le Mercier. I don't know why I feel like I need to add on that. Le Mercier. It sounds French to me. I don't know. I have to do some research. But I got it from the Dollar Tree store. Hello. It was a new product that was being put out on the shelf, and it said like satin, velvety, matte type look that lasts all day. Child, I don't know about lasting all day, but I like it. It's real cute. So go ahead and hit up the dollar store and see if y'all can find one at your local stores. So yes, guys, before we get into today's information, you know I'm going to start it off with our affirmation for the day to see what the universe is trying to tell us today and to see who it's speaking out to. All right. Affirmation for the day. When you're committed, don't expect people to understand you. When you are committed, don't expect people to understand you. When you are committed, don't expect people to understand you. There it is. Because y'all, I'm telling you, when you start setting some goals and you get really serious about your goals, you will get to a point where you're willing to do whatever you have to do to get there. And people are not going to get it because they're so used to their little mundane routine and practices, and they're stuck in the matrix and just, you know, moving how they should in the whole rat race. They don't understand other people whose minds have ascended to a certain level of consciousness. They'll never understand you. They'll never get it. So you just got to go ahead and get that out your system. That validation that you're going to be seeking, or that you may currently be seeking or have seeked before in the past, you no longer need that validation. Actually, just don't tell anybody nothing that you're doing. They can't understand what is not there to understand. Ooh, y'all, that was good. And that is going to that leads very well into today's topic. Universe, come through. Because today's topic is get comfortable walking in your shadows. Accept yourself fully. That's today's topic. Get comfortable walking in your shadows and accept yourself fully. So y'all, before we go ahead and get into it, please be sure to like this video, share the video with a friend, comment, subscribe, and turn on your post notification bell so you are aware every time I post a new video. All right, y'all, let's get into it. Walking in your shadows. So what's your shadows? What does it sound like? What are shadows? They're darkness. Sometimes they're scary. Sometimes shadows show you things that are not as they actually seem. There's always double meanings to things. There's always something to read in between the line, and those are shadows. Sometimes you may do just a little figure like this with your hands, and when you look in the shadow, you created a whole dinosaur, whatever type monster. And it really looks like that in those shadows. And it could be something like that in actuality, but sometimes it's not. Walking in your shadows is definitely not for the timid. It's not for those who are afraid. Walking in your shadows is for those who are ready to face life fully. You're ready to face life and to take it head on. Walking in your shadows means that you are willing to explore. the deepest areas and sides of yourself that you have either hidden or suppressed and pushed all the way down deep into your subconscious. These are things that maybe you force yourself not to think about, because when you think about it, it makes you feel low, unhappy, guilty, or ashamed, or afraid. Shadows are, in a sense, the foundation that develops the character who you are right now. And shadows that are unexplored, that are never visited, they usually stay hidden for a while. But at the right moments, when things begin to get too heavy, they explode. And when they explode, they usually explode in the most unhealthiest ways. That's why we're going to discuss today's topic about walking in your shadows. You got to get comfortable with walking in your shadows. You have to be willing to walk in your shadows. You know, in order to heal a lot of things in life as an adult, or if you're a teenager, wherever you are in life, in order to heal right now, sometimes you have to go back and revisit those past experiences that created low vibrations that may exist in you today. So for some people, that may look like abuse, that may look like abandonment, that may look like homelessness, that may look like sickness, that may look like loneliness. You know, that shadows looks like different things for different people, because everyone has a different upbringing. Everyone has a completely different journey. Even if you grew up in the same house with siblings, you could be you could be a twin or a triplet, but you still are going to have individual experiences, because you are your own person. You are still your own spirit, right? So your shadows are going to look a lot different. You know, sometimes your shadows can be similar to others, but they will never be the same. So, with that being said, how do you learn to accept your shadows? You know, like even if they're scary, or they make you feel guilty, or they make you feel shameful, how do you get to the point where you learn to accept them? Where do you even start? My opinion, I would start with thinking. You should have already known I was going to go there. Everything starts in the mind. I would definitely start with rewiring the way that I think. I would start to skew my perspective on things. And when I say that, I mean, although something may seem negative, I would start to find ways to pinpoint the positives that came out of it, because I want to start to focus on the positives. And that's how you're going to begin to skew your perspective on whatever it is, or what happens, or however it is that you're feeling. First and foremost, everything happens for a reason. Please understand that. Every single person that is here in this universe, that is on this earth, we chose to be here for a reason. So everything that happens to us, it is for us along our journey. We just have to be able to read between those lines that I was telling you about. A lot of the times, every single life experience that we have literally builds our character of who we are today. So, for example, let's say when you were younger, right? Let's say you didn't grow up with a lot of family, and you were moved around from home to home, right? When you become older and you become an adult, you kind of develop this sense, some people developed a sense of instability. Because when you were younger, you were bounced around, you felt abandoned, you didn't feel like you really had a home. And then becoming an adult, when you don't resolve those issues within yourself, you kind of still sit in that same frequency It's just a whole different experience, but it's the same exact thing. You're still bouncing around. You're still not stable, you know? You still have not found that security. You're searching for what you never had. That's usually how those people turn out. People who don't walk in their shadows, they continue searching for something that they never had before. And for me, when I think about that, if you never had it before, how do you know what you're looking for while you're searching it? You see what I mean? You have to walk in those shadows. You have to revisit. You have to go back and think and analyze. Now that you're older and you understand things a lot differently, you have to go back in your mind and think and analyze. And sometimes you can't do it by yourself. Sometimes you need to add in a third party, like a good friend or family that you trust, or even a therapist. Because you have to go back and revisit certain things. Certain things that happen will help you understand exactly who you are today, why you feel the way you are, why you act the way you act, and why you do the things you do. It all stems from childhood experiences. And sometimes, even if it's not a childhood experience, it still could have been an experience that happened previously that you never truly got over. When it comes to walking in your shadows and learning to accept yourself, you have to learn how to take your disadvantages and make them an advantage for yourself. Many people who I've came across in the past who have had traumatic upbringings, right? They usually lead with that. When I ask them about themselves, or when they start talking about themselves, they naturally lead with the victim mentality, and they lead with the negativity, right? You know why? Because that's deep on their subconscious. Because they don't walk in their shadows. They haven't visited their shadows. They're probably afraid and don't want to go there. You know, they're fearful. They don't have enough courage to go there. Versus, I've met just only a handful of people, and I meet them, and they are such an array of sunshine and light. And I literally would have never known that they even experienced anything harsh in their lives. But you never know. And when they choose to open up to you and tell you about it, first of all, it's not the first thing that they lead with who they are. But when they choose, when and if they choose to open up to you about it, they give it from a survivor perspective, not a victim. There's a difference. A victim is more like, woe is me. And a survivor is like, yeah, I went through that, but I made it out and I'm still here and I'm so grateful. And I know I'm meant to be here. And that's why I love life. Do you see where I'm going there? You have to get to a point where you learn how to take the disadvantage and make it an advantage for you. And I think, honestly, the best way for us to be able to do this is through transmuting. You guys know what transmutation is? If you don't, I highly suggest you do some research. Transmuting is when you take something negative or you take something that is supposed to be seen as negative and you literally turn it into a positive. And I'm gonna give you guys an example. And this is not the most common example, but I have a funny way of thinking, and the way that I think and remember things, it always sticks for me, right? Y'all, it's a show that I grew up watching, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Many of us watch it. I love the show. I watched it several different times now, right? And I keep coming back to it. Yes, there's a lot of drama filled in the show, but there's also a lot of growth. There's a lot of money energy in that show. There's a lot of entrepreneurship that I keep going back to see, right? And the last time I watched it, which was pretty recent, I started noticing a lot of people who use the power of transmuting the negatives in their life and literally turning it into positives. And an example would be Candy. You guys know the singer. She was a part of the group Escape. She's a songwriter. She does plays. Child, she a part of everything. She's a huge investor. Definitely a mastermind. Kandi literally used everything that was at a disadvantage to her, and she turned it into an advantage and made money off of it. There was a scene in there where she was with this guy. Kandi's a millionaire, probably a billionaire by now. But she was with a guy that was way beneath her, means. And everybody around her knew it. Her mom definitely knew it. And her mom was standing on 10 toes and saying, no, you don't need to marry this man. He got 6 baby mamas and all of this and all of this. No, ma'am. Right? You know what Kandi did? Kandi took all of her emotions that she had and all that pain that she was feeling, everybody going back and forth and her mom not supporting her and stuff like that. She took all of those emotions, balled it up, and put it into a play. It's almost something similar to like a Tyler Perry, one of them old school plays. She put it into a play. And from that play, she had thousands of people that came out, and they went and started touring that play too. And not only did she make some money off of that negative and that disadvantage, but she also found a way to voice and express herself. She's not really the type of person that likes confrontation with her mom, so she never would go toe to toe with her mom. But through that play, you best believe it was lots of digs in there about exactly what was going on in her real life. That is a perfect example of transmuting, taking something that is seen as negative and turning it into a positive. You want me to give you another one? Same show, Real Houses, Wives of Atlanta, same person, Kandi. There was a character in the show, Portia, and Portia started this rumor about Kandi, saying that Kandi had a dungeon. You know what kind of dungeon? Like 50 Shades of Grey type dungeon, right? Kandi swore up and down she didn't have no dungeon. She got all this heat, all this stuff in the media, people coming to her, slaughtering her name, slandering her, and all this stuff. She took, yet again, all of those emotions, bottled it up, and you know what she did? She created a live tour, a dungeon. Welcome to the dungeon. A live show that toured around as well, based off of a lie that could have took her down and really canceled her out of society. Transmuting. Transmuting is as simple as taking a baked potato, which is a root food. It's grown underground. So when you dig it up underground, it is all dirty. It's black. It may got insects and stuff all over it. It's disgusting looking and it's nasty and it's dirty. You take that potato, you go in the house and you go wash it off and you rinse it off a few times and you peel it and you cut it up and you make it into some beautiful, delicious, crispy, crunchy, golden fries. That, my friend, is the literal definition of transmuting. You took something that was seen as a negative and you turned it into something else that is a positive, something completely different that is a positive. That is what you have to do with your shadows as well. You learn to take your shadows that could be a disadvantage to you, that may have been a disadvantage for you in the past, and you take those shadows and you find a way to turn them into an advantage. Tyler Perry, I'm pretty sure he does it through his plays. Athletes do it through their careers. You know what I'm saying? Comedians are hilarious, but they have went through some of the darkest paths and they laugh through it. That is their way of transmuting that energy, and that's why they get that success from it. Law of transmutation, that is a universal law, love. If you learn to move with the law and you learn how to use the law of transmutation, you will find much success in your life, I promise you. So yes, guys, we want to transmute those emotions and all of that energy into something positive. And that's how we are going to get comfortable walking in our shadows. And that's going to lead to us fully accepting ourselves, because you can't accept the good and not accept the bad. It just doesn't go like that. Everything is about balance. Life is about balance. Yin and yang, light and dark, Life is about balance, everything. All right, y'all. So let's talk about how when you get to the point where you really start accepting yourself and you realize whatever happened to me before is not who I am today, but it did mold me into the person that I am. So I'm very grateful for that experience. Although I wish I would have never went through it and nobody else go through it ever again, I am grateful for the experience because I made it out and I have much wisdom and knowledge today to speak on it and to pass this on to others. Right? When you get to that point where you truly feel that, I mean, you breathe it. It's literally pumping through your veins, right? You get to this point where nothing can faze you. Nothing no longer upsets you. It doesn't anger you. Nothing frightens you. Y'all, I remember this one time, I used to be a little timid, like especially being in the house by myself. I never could imagine living by myself, right? And when I got to this certain point of consciousness, all of those little noises, you know, those random noises you hear in the house, little random creaks, and it's like it only happens when it's like nighttime and it's super quiet and you winding down to sleep, then you hear that random noise and you got one eye open. Yeah, that no longer bothers me. Sometimes I swear I could see like little shadows, or maybe it's just my eyes, you know, playing tricks on me. Whatever the case may be, it no longer phases me. Going out and let's say I bump into someone and they have a disgusting attitude and they attempt to take it out on me and try to transfer that negative energy over to me, it no longer phases me. Because baby, I walk through my own shadows. My biggest fear is what I just came through, is what I experienced when I was younger. That's what I consider my shadows. I've worked through that fully. I got through that fully enough to where I can accept myself because I know who I am today. It is a reflection of who I was before, but who I was before doesn't have to be who I am today. So nothing you do, nothing you say, nothing you throw at me can faze me, and that goes to anybody and anything, including the universe. Baby, when you start to develop that attitude, do you know how easy it is to accept yourself fully? And when you really start vibrating that energy of accepting yourself fully, the world moves for you, love. The universe will move for you. Prayers will move for you. Blessings, opportunities, success, love, peace, good health, wealth will move for you. I'm speaking life into y'all right now. Low-key, I need to charge y'all for this little therapy session because that's what it's low-key starting to feel like. But no, seriously, guys. When you get to that level, you're like un-F-wittable. You know what I want to say. Can't nobody touch you, period. And that's where we want to get to. That's how we master our past self. Got to master them shadows in order for you to master your current self. How you gonna master who you are today and you haven't even mastered who you was before? It's fake. It's not real. It's surface level. Okay? Guys, there is a saying that I love to say it to people and I love to relate it to you, so I'm gonna relate it to you all today as well. You must feel it in order to heal it. So when you get to walking in your shadows, right? When you get to start feeling some of those past experiences and emotions come back up to you and come back up for you, right? You have to feel it in order to get through to heal it. You got to go through the emotions. There's no other way. It's some people and they want to put on this tough exterior. You know, it's some people and they ain't cried in days and weeks and months and in years. They haven't shed a tear. They haven't released any emotion. They just keep it all bottled up together. And if you only knew how unhealthy that was for you. Crying is one of the best releases that you could ever have. Do you know how good it feels after you cry? Do you know that sometimes when you cry, it's not really you, your person, your physical vessel, well, not physical vessel, it's not really you, your person that's wanting to cry, right? But it's your body that needs to release it and needs to get it out and needs to cry because your body keeps score. And that is an excellent book that you guys need to get into. I forgot who the author is, but go on Google and look it up. Go on Amazon and look it up. The Body Keeps Score. The Body Keeps Count. One of them two. I'm sorry if I messed up the title. But your body holds on to those emotions. That's where a lot of sickness comes from as well. When you don't master your shadows, when you don't go back to your past and revisit it and analyze it and work through it and move through it, you end up with a lot of different like illnesses. And sometimes you can't figure out where it came from or why you have it, you know? But it's affected by your emotions. It's caused by emotional wounds. You can't see it. Nobody else can see it and tell you it's there unless you start opening up and talking to them and they hear some type of trauma in your story. And then they can kind of like psychoanalyze you and tell you that there's something else that's going on deeper, and that's the real problem. You got to feel it to heal it, y'all. You got to cry. You have to release it, you know? You don't have to be just in your house and depressed and crying all day. I'm not saying like that. No, you could take yourself out, treat yourself real nice, and you could be just sitting watching some water at the end of the night, and you just feel it all coming out and you just want to release and let it go. Sometimes you got to release and let it go. How about this? After you get to the point where you have analyzed and fully analyzed your past, and you have fully analyzed your shadows, right? Once you get to that point, that level of consciousness inside your mind, the next step is to physically release it and let it go. And how else you gonna physically release it and let it go? You got to work out. That's number one. We didn't even talk about that because you release it through your sweat as well. But you need to work out and you need to cry. That is how you physically release those emotions and those past shadows. So in order for you to move forward and ascend, you're going to have to do that. So yeah, guys, tears are healing. And that is how your body is going to release that tension and those past emotions. So don't be afraid to let those tears flow when they want to come up. You don't have to force them to come up. But when they come up, do not force them down. That is what I'm telling you. Did you just hear me? You do not have to force the emotions and the tears to come up. You don't have to force yourself to cry. But what I am telling you is, when those emotions come up naturally on their own, yes, let them come up. Do not force them away. Do not push them away. That's literally the body trying to get it up out of you. The body's trying to help you. Your body is more smarter than you think too. The body and your spirit is trying to help you release that out of you, and you're forcing it back down. And then you're wondering why you still feeling how you feeling about yourself. Get to the point where you are comfortable walking into your shadow, to your shadows, so that you can fully accept yourself. When you get to the point of full self-acceptance, you will begin to experience peace, beauty, and a glow from the inside out like no other. Nothing else in this world will be able to give you that kind. There's no beauty product that will be able to give you that kind of glow. Food can. Now that's a tip. Food can always make you feel good, even if you feel bad, even if you feel depressed. Good, clean food, whole food, will always make you feel good. But other than the food, that true self-acceptance, that true self-love, yeah, that glow is forever. That's going to radiate from the inside out. And not only does it radiate from the inside out, but it also transfers to others. And it feels good to others as well. And they take it on and they use it for themselves, and then they get to pass it on to somebody else, and it's a gift that keeps on giving. That's why it's so important for us to fully heal ourselves, walk in our shadows, and accept ourselves, so that when we move out in this world, that's the kind of energy we're giving off, so that it can circulate in this world, if you see what I'm trying to get at. Okay. So with that being said, y'all, we're not going to keep this video too long. I'm going to leave you with, you have to learn to accept your shadows. You must learn to embrace your shadows. And you must learn to love your shadows. You cannot truly love the light if you do not fully accept and love the dark. Because you can't know what light is if you didn't already experience the dark to understand the joy and the warmth of the light. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, my loves, it was good being with y'all today. Until the next session, I'm charging y'all for the next one though. Love you.